So my name is Lynn Principe. I am part of the Florida End of Life Doula Association. I'm here along with Shanti and a few other of our members. We've got William and Terry here as well. We are working to grow our association, and part of what we want to do, one of our foundations really is education. So we want to offer monthly calls because we realize that, we've all done doula training, and that's just the beginning, right? It's endless. I think the education never ends. And we have so much that we can offer each other. And so the purpose of this call is to really start that pool, that really deep pool that we have in our state. And one of the things we want to do on this call is really identify where we shine, where we might need support, and also who is in our community that supports our work. So I'm thinking of it as like concentric circles. So our doulas here, we are this inner circle, and we have our own community. And then I'm thinking of a greater circle, and these are the people that support us, whether they be other professions that are necessary for us to do what we do. So that's a little bit about what we want to do. I want to introduce Shanti. Most of you probably know Shanti. She's been spearheading this work for years in Florida, and it's been her really life's passion to bring this all together. And we really wouldn't be here without Shanti. So thank you for that, Shanti. She's been organizing us. So
thanks, Lynn. I'm just so grateful that that we are coming together, and that for a while I felt like the Lone Ranger. And wow, we have a huge, beautiful, rich community here. So thanks so much.
Yeah. And I want to acknowledge that we're all in different places on our journey. Some of us have been doulas for a while. Some are brand new, maybe haven't started with clients yet, and you're all welcome. I think that we all have a lot in our toolkit to offer. And likewise, we all have a lot to share as well. So I wanted to start with talking about the different roles. Yeah, I love the words in the chat. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Shanti. I wanted to start with talking about the different roles within the work of doulas. I have a slide I want to share, and then after that, we'll have a discussion and talking about really what is your special sauce when it comes to all of the different roles that doulas provide. So I'm going to share my screen. This is my first time using this this app. Okay. Can everyone see that? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. So these are just a few of the things that doulas do. I'll just quickly go around. So advanced care planning. So these are the doulas that are really good at paperwork and knowing what's needed and inspiring people to do the work. We have doulas that are really good with legacy work. And I think what's important about legacy work is that saying that it's not a one size fits all. I had a client a couple of years ago who her big thing was that she didn't want to leave a trace. That was really important to her. And her hospice suggested that she record her voice into a teddy bear. And I thought, you just totally missed the mark, right? So that wouldn't be the right legacy for her. So doing really special legacy work. Comfort care practices can range from, there are many doulas that provide Reiki, or maybe they're musical, or they provide meditation. So those kind of things. So like in-home visits or care visits that you would have with your clients leading up to their vigil. And then we're moving into pre and post-death vigil. I know plenty of doulas that don't do vigils at all. They like the planning part. I know some that really just love the bedside. So there's a specialty there. Home funeral guides. I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about that in our upcoming calls. This is something that's becoming more popular. I'm noticing more inquiries about that in our state now. Grief support services. This is like someone like Shanti or Keely that does a lot of grief work as a doula. And then we have doulas that their passion is supporting and educating. And then ceremony facilitators. So maybe you create funeral ceremonies or rituals that involve families and clients and communities. So I'm going to stop my share there. And I would love to hear a little bit about, and so this is a good sized group. And I think in order for us to have time, we only have an hour together. It's already 15 minutes in. I would love to hear from you all about what is your magic? What's your special sauce? What's in your toolbox? So we don't have time for a lot of like history, really. We want to hear like succinctly, what is it that lights you up? Like what, and it can be a number of things. In that way, we can identify one another as, you know what, I'm curious about home funerals and I know this doula in my state and I can reach out to them. And so that's really what this is about. So I'll start. I'm a life cycle celebrant. I do funeral ceremonies. I'm also recently trained in VSED and I'm super passionate about VSED. And I've just had one VSED client, but it just was an amazing experience. I love sitting at the bedside. Bedside vigils and rituals are probably where I do most of my doula work. And then of course, educating. I was a doula trainer for a couple of years. So that's me. So if you need support in any of those ways, so I'm someone that's available to support in that way. So I'll just let people jump in or raise your hand, whatever you feel comfortable doing. If you don't want to speak, totally fine too. You can put stuff in the chat, a little bit about, you know, what your area of expertise or passion is. Anyone want to start? Kristen?
Hi, I'm Kristen. I'm in West Palm Beach. As a former home hospice social worker, I get a lot of inquiries for people who are looking for advanced care planning and casework. You know, what do I do? Oh my God, we're trying to do this all by ourselves kind of stuff, which is fine. And I love to do that. But what I really love to do is bedside vigil. I have experience. I've worked with several VSED clients and just recently got certified through ACA. I think it's ACA MAID, which is for the states with medical aid in dying, which I'm really excited about. I don't know if Florida or Connecticut, which is the other place that I live, is ever going to get there. But I'm really excited about that. And that was a really interesting, I would recommend that. It's pretty brief training. And I'm also interested in partnering up with people in my area.
Okay, so. Thank you, Kristen. Can you tell me again, what is the name of the MAID training that you did?
It's ACA MAID, MAID.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sure that's what the organization is. And they will also put you on a list. They'll give you mentoring. They'll give you a mentor if you were to find someone in a state that offered MAID and you had someone reach out to you who you wanted you to be a bedside assistant. You know, a lot of hospices won't assist. Families don't really want to assist. Doctors don't really want to assist. So life doulas are,
perfect.
It's made for us.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Kristen. I think Bobby, you had your hand up.
Yep, I'll go next. Get this over. My name is Bobby. I'm from West Palm Beach. Pleasure to be here. Definitely, we all need to be connected. I'm on the pre-planning side. I am new to this. However, for the past 10 years, I've been involved in providing psychedelic therapies to people with enough at the end of their lives, and it's a miracle what really happens. Obviously, being involved in that, well, you get involved in their planning and all of the things that happen after that. And I'm also interested in MAID, sorry. Because I have the ability to fly people privately to another state. And now that Oregon let go the 14-day waiting period, that becomes something that can be planned in a different state and then meet the requirements over there and basically help people. I always say that we have more compassion for our pets than for ourselves. So medical aid in dying is something I'm passionate about.
Great.
That's it.
What a great resource. Thank you, Bobby. Okay. Who else wants to share? Marcia?
Hello, I'm Marcia in Port St. Lucie, and I was trained in April, as I'm new. I have not been working as a doula per se, but after the training, I began to volunteer at Treasure Coast Hospice. So I am find myself a caring and compassionate and comfort care provider. Also supporting education and ceremony planning. I am also clergy person, and so I facilitate in other ways as well.
Oh, thank you, Marcia. Welcome. Who's next? Diane?
Hi, I'm Diane O'Grady, and I live in a parish in Bradenton and Sarasota are close neighbors to us. I have been working in the grief area and family support and information, not about getting services in the sense of, you know, home care, but more in what to expect in those latter days of life, you know, when the body's shutting down. I have been doing some legacy work. Most recently, I probably can talk more about the ones that I don't concentrate in other than the ones that I do. I am not good on the final days that, you know, at the being there at the bedside, but the other parts of it I've been involved with one way or another. I am looking at use printer for a legacy book.
Sorry?
You know,
Yeah,
if there's anybody, is there anybody here in Florida that has used a printer or a service to produce the legacy book, legacy tribute book for a patient? If they have any recommendation, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Who should we hear from next? Liz? Oh, then Brianna. Brianna.
Greetings, I'm in Hollywood, Florida, which is in South Broward County. I tried 6 months ago is when I finished my end of life training. Currently, I am focusing in on legacy work that involves textiles. Basically, I turn people's clothing into pillows, ornaments, and I'm trying to really focus on both people who've lost a loved one, but also people who are in the dying phase and they want to basically leave something behind, especially with the holidays coming. So that's where I'm focusing right now. I am very excited about really developing expertise in advanced care planning, like the idea of every household having a binder in case something happens lights my fire. And I'm also very interested in ritual planning.
Beautiful. Are you open to any of us like sending textiles to you to create things?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Textiles to me are sacred, someone's clothing. So it would have to be super, super careful because to receive someone's clothing is sometimes I shake.
Yeah. So beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much. I love all this variety. Brianna?
Hi, so I am new to the group, thanks to Mr. William. I'm actually new to the state of Florida. I am in the funeral industry, been in the industry for about 10 years. So I started off in pre-planning, so I think that that is where one of my strong suits would definitely be is advanced care planning. I am open to a lot. I'm actually transitioning to kind of focus more on my deaf doula business. But I am open and I'm just here. Mr. Williams said this will be a great group to join and to kind of get some guidance on the Florida market, with just being able to network with everyone. And I am out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Perfect. Welcome, Brianna.
Thank you.
Sweet. Anyone else want to share? Shanti?
Yeah, I'll share. Oh, this is my element, people connecting. And because I just feel like we can't really do this alone. I mean, even if we were doing it alone, we'd still need people to talk to. And I mean, I know in this group right here, there's a number of people that I've called on over and over different times just to process and talk about the challenges. And I guess one thing I think is so important, and it is something that we do in our grief work, is to be emotionally honest and to be honest with one another. I didn't grow up learning how to say what I think and feel, and I still have a hard time with it because a lot of fear comes up about being rejected or hurting someone's feelings. And I feel like, we just, we need to be willing to say what's going on, so that, especially in the beginning stages of such an important organization, that we, have sensitivity, but also in a way, thick skin. Like we're brave, we're bold, we're able, we're capable, we can handle the storm. And I just feel like there's such potential in this room and in this, I have the honor of receiving all these emails and all these people coming, and there's been a couple of hundred of you, and when I think about the importance of the work of ushering people into a space where they can feel safe and okay about dying, about the end of this life, it's like, what better thing would there be to do, for me anyway. And I think for a lot of us. So, it's a calling. It's not like, oh, I know, I want to go do grief, the grief work that I've talked enough. I know I'm going over time, but anyway, just the passion, the excitement, and the connection. Thanks.
Thank you, Shanti.
My turn.
Yes. Hi, Kristen.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kristen, Northwest Florida. I am a trauma doula. I'm a cannabis doula. I do medical aid in dying. I just got off with a meeting with our Florida Doula Dignity group. It's the nonprofit. And I'm so excited. I feel privileged to be able to share it. But I am working with Helena, Ray, and Tony, and it's with the law. I have a copy of the act, and I'm supposed to bring to you, and I went into Shanti as to when we could have them on, but just working on this end of life options act. It's there. We have it in Senate. We need something. I'm still learning with the laws, House, legislative, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. I've just found this in my loss of a partner, and he's actually on a ventilator right now. So in my grief, in my pain, I find work. So that's what I pushed on with this. And I'm so glad I found you guys, like, honestly, because I have a calling in this work, and I've tried to make it go away, as you would kind of say, or just like go work at the beach, go do something. But it's just, I feel so passionate about how important these things are. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Can we all just take a breath with Kristen?
Oh, yeah, right.
Just give her some holding. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Hi, Lee.
Hi, I'm Lee from Gainesville, and most of my doula work has been done in Ohio, where I'm from. I moved to Gainesville a couple of years ago, but my passion is the bedside vigil. I'm willing to do anything that the family and the client needs. So I've done all of that, but for me, that's a very sacred space to be able to accompany someone to the threshold. And I also have facilitated some ceremonies down here, pre-death ceremonies, the latest one being yesterday, which was lovely because the client could be fully present for that, and there's magic in that as well. So put my phone number and name, and I didn't add my email, but please feel free to contact. Thank you.
Lee. Beautiful. Ah, so inspiring.
So I'll go. Hello, my name is William. I'm in Gainesville, Florida, which is in Alachua County. I'm a licensed funeral director and embalmer, and I really care a lot about natural burial and doing education around alternative disposition options. And there are things coming online in the state of Florida that are very exciting for alkaline hydrolysis and other things. Right now, I'm working on my business, which is about legacy work, and I would like to start workshopping the possibility of doing Swedish death cleaning. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, William. Keely.
Hi, my name is Keely, and I'm based in Ormond Beach, Volusia County, and I specialize in grief recovery. It was end of life doula training that led me to the Grief Recovery Institute. So that's been the area that I've been focusing on. I have had the honor of sitting vigil as well, and I do, to my surprise, actually, I really felt comfortable in that space, and it's very sacred. I'm also a yoga nidra facilitator. I have some holistic modalities as well that I can bring in. So I like that side of bringing comfort care to people. And I'm also interested in the planning, something that I've done through the Conscious Dying Institute is the best 3 months of life. So I really like that. And that's where I'm at right now. Oh, I should say too, is I have an Airbnb. William is like, yes, let's talk about that. And I call it the Healing Oasis. So I see that as a place that I want to develop for people to come and experience healing where they're close to the ocean and nature. Maybe it's for, I don't have a specific plan in mind, but like respite care.
Would you be open to having someone come to do visa?
Yeah.
There?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would. So we can connect.
Nice.
Thank you.
Keely. Yeah.
Okay, I'm the last one.
No, not quite. Almost.
I'm Pam. I'm in Gainesville, Florida as well. And I did my Anelda training in April with Marcia. And I have not had any doula clients as of yet. I volunteer with our hospice and love it. I mean, my favorite is the bedside vigil. Vigil planning is something that I think would really be, you know, right up my alley. I love the, you know, the just talking with people, the grief. I don't know the grief recovery method, so I don't like to use that word, but just talking through their emotions and things like that. I enjoy that. But I think for me, it's mostly the vigil, the planning and the sitting bedside and just holding space and being available for people. And I agree, it's, you know, such a sacred time in our lives. And it just is a privilege, I feel like, to be there and share those last moments with somebody. So I get goosebumps even thinking about it. I've been present for 4 patients at hospice as they passed, and it's just incredible. You know, I feel honored that I was there, you know, to help them through that. So that's where my passion kind of lies, is mostly the bedside.
Beautiful. Thank you, Pam. And Michelle.
Hi, I'm from Tampa, the Lake Magdalene area, Carrollwood. And I've done grief companioning, a lot of that. I got certified a couple of years ago from Care Doula with Deanna Cochran, and also got certified in the grief work. And I tended to attract mothers or women who've lost babies. And it's interesting, I've probably worked with about 5 people who've just, it's been a word of mouth thing. And I've never had a baby physically myself, so it's interesting. But I resonate with that. And also the vigil work. And I do energy work, but I'm incorporating something called soul collage soon. And it's really legacy work. It's to help people basically make a statement about their life. What I've found in working with people at the end of life is so often it's just a feeling of, did I matter? You know, and I even have a little card, a white card that says you matter. It's a woman who started the You Matter movement, where you just leave you matter cards around. And I like to focus on that person and be witness to and hold space for them to get to why they matter, what matters, and to leave a piece of their voice behind if that's what they want. So yeah, I think legacy work I'm moving into, but I love vigil and I love the grief companioning as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This is really inspiring. I wanted to, especially since we have a few new doulas here, just remind you that don't wait until you feel like you know everything there is to know, because that will never happen. If death is your teacher, it will continue to teach you. And I think what's really important to remember is that trust yourself, that you can, first of all, holding the space, and what you don't know, you reach out and you help one another, you ask questions. So don't let that hold you back. I know sometimes we have this imposter syndrome that, you know, we're not ready, but it's really, you know, this, your why you came to this work is what's going to carry you through, no matter how much experience you have. Before I go into my next slide, I wanted to just share that, and I feel like this inspired our call tonight. I had someone reach out to me a while ago who is got a terminal illness and wants to be buried on her property. And I don't really know how that works or if it's even available where I live. So I reached out to William. And then Shanti ended up calling her as well. And now, Shanti, do you want to just briefly explain the other people that you are now bringing in? I just want to show this like breadcrumb trail of community that's necessary for these things to happen.
Yeah, sure. And William is working with me on this one. Well, you know, the Prairie Creek Conservation Cemetery is here in Gainesville, and we're very fortunate to have that beautiful conservation cemetery. So the main founder, one of the founders, is Freddie Johnson. And so immediately I was excited to just free of charge help these people because I wanted to learn how to do this. I mean, I had my babies at home, 3 out of the 4 of them, all except the first. And I think it's lovely to be able to just carry a body from the house to the ground. So Freddie came to a Zoom meeting with our board, which we have 6 board members at this time. And he gave a presentation on the details of how to do that legally in the state. And there are some examples of people who have done it. So that's a whole webinar. And we will be sharing that available, making that available to people at some point, but it's not quite ready yet. One thing I found in this particular case is that the person with the illness is gung-ho, determined, excited, but I don't know about Will, but I've yet to speak with the actual person who would have to be there doing all that at home. And so that's kind of a key step is, okay, you may want all of this, but how about the people who are left to deal with it? Are they going to be willing?
And who are the other ones that I know you've reached out? The sheriff. So what other people?
Oh, well,
professions?
The sheriff, okay. I mean, I had a situation where I had a 19-year-old who died at home in her bed. And so I was called to the house. That's sort of a different question. I have made contact personally with the sheriff last week, and we exchanged cards, and he told me, go ahead and email me. So, I mean, this is another important thing, is to get with your community. Right. Even when you're not in a crisis moment or on a short time frame, get your doulas together in your area and get with your community leaders, your city commission, your medical examiner, and kind of communicate with them so that if they know us and know that we're okay, they're not going to be so nervous about leaving us with a body. If they suspect any problems, they're going to be skittish about, their responsibility. So, I mean, we could go on and on that topic, but I just wanted to give William a chance to share anything additional, if you want to.
I love the teams-based approach, and I think it's going to take a teams-based kind of approach to this. There's a lot of unknowns, and so it's very interesting, and I'm deeply interested to see how this plays out, because there is a lot of contingencies that can change how this happens. And so getting together with people and pre-planning is the thing where makes this possible. The fact that we're having this conversation, hopefully early enough, makes this conversation in the realm of possibilities. And that is very exciting, because this is not work that necessarily people at city council or at your county or the sheriff knows the answer to, because there isn't necessarily an answer.
Okay. Perfect. And before we leave today, I'm going to talk a little bit about some upcoming, or some ideas for upcoming calls. So I'm going to share my screen once again and just go through some possible community members. Everyone see this? Yeah. Okay. So both Shanti and William are talking about the importance of, having these people. Kind of thinking of this as like the outer circle for doulas. It's important to have these people that you have relationships with. So when you do have a difficult case, or you don't know, say what the laws are, or even something could be legal, but finding someone who's willing to do the thing. I have someone that I've worked with before. He's a funeral director, and he's helped me in the past when a hospital would not release a body to a spouse to bring back home. So he said, well, I'll pick him up and bring him back home. So having those people, even though something is legal, having people that are willing to actually step up and do that for you. So these could be religious leaders. We all can sit and hold space for someone else's faith, but sometimes they want that religious leader at the bedside. Family counselors, a lot of things come up through the dying process. A lot of unhealed things come up, and having people to refer to, like I mentioned, funeral directors, home health care providers. I think people don't realize that once they're on hospice that they still will they may need some help at home. Lawyers for advanced planning, a hospice liaison, other doulas, this probably should be at the top of the list. Like Shanti mentioned, knowing your medical examiner. So that may be important if someone dies at home without hospice. So having that person that you can call rather than the police. And then advanced care planning experts. So these could also be education. So this is not an exhaustive list by any means. How do I get out of here? Anyway, so I'm going to stop my share. We have 15 minutes left. So when it comes to this like outer circle, does anyone want to share, people in your area that you feel like can be those community partners, or the need for the community partners where you are? Any resources you want to share about that? Because like I mentioned, there are many things that are legal, but then finding someone who actually will help give you support, like say in a home funeral, a lot of places are not for that, or VSED. VSED is legal, but a lot of assisted living facilities will not allow their clients to do VSED. So you've got to move them out into like an Airbnb. So, and maybe you don't have anything to add, but I wanted to kind of bring that up, and so that you're inspired to start identifying who these people are in your community before you need them. So it's important to have those relationships. I think Kristen had her hand up first.
Which there's me, Kristen?
Yes.
Yeah, because I heard another Kristen earlier.
Okay.
I'm so glad again for community, because I am so tired of doing things alone, because it is scary. It's scary. That's why, the next step out. But this summer I've just been kicking it, like really connecting. And, just like William, I think he works, I'm not sure, but the independent funeral directors group, just trying to connect with them and be like, hey, I'm a doula. Like, I should know you guys. We should be friends. I should be a referral, and so kind of them now knowing there are doulas, and they made a actually doula spot, on their members, because I went on there and picked the wrong one. But I think it's just us finally getting recognized that our death work is a real thing, and so we're all finding it. So I'm excited. I had to share it with that. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, death work is community work. You think about that's how it always was, and we're coming back to that, right? William, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to show you all an object that's really important. This is my State of Florida Department of Financial Services Division of Funeral, Cemetery, and Consumer Services Handbook. These are all the statutes about what we can and can't do. And it's important to start getting familiar with these. They're not in a language that's easy to understand, but a lot of things out in the state of Florida are not the law, but they're superstitions. There's kind of professional best practices. They're how a funeral home wants to do things. But the state of Florida doesn't actually have a lot to say on these things, and we need to be empowered by leaning into our group to figure out what we can and can't do, because a lot of these rules have nothing to do with things that we often are told no to.
Thank you so much. Can you put that in the chat?
I will, and I'm going to
something we can find.
There's a website where you can search it, but it's helpful to have this, and I will send you. They send this to all the funeral directors starting to be in school, but these are $10 to get this in the mail. So maybe I will send that out and y'all can have a copy. It's boring reading, and I read it when I had COVID last year. But this is the book with all the rules about funeral things.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think the National Home Funeral Association is a good resource too. Yeah. Does anyone else want to add anything about community partners? Yes, Shanti.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting for me because I started out as a doula with a doula training in 2018, and then in 2020 I did the grief recovery method training because I hadn't been getting doula response. And then through the grief work, I started getting grief clients that also it turned into doula work again. So it's kind of coming full circle. But I like to just reach out to community groups. Our police and sheriff and ministers had a community meeting on Friday for helping the community to get involved in ending gun violence and reducing it and reversing it. So that was, the grief angle fits in a lot of places. And then just constantly on the lookout for nonprofits who do stuff, the River Phoenix Center for Peace Building, just anyone, the Alachua County Children's Trust for education, for providing even a short talk with a PowerPoint that might have 12 slides on it or something, just there's people hungry for information. So wherever I can find it, I reach out and just give a talk.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So this has been really inspiring, and I'm jotting down with a list of idea topics. So we want to do this once a month, the first Tuesday of every month. And because, like I mentioned, doula training is just one piece of it. It continues, and we have so much to teach one another. So some ideas that I have so far. So a MAID VSED call, a call about contracts for doulas and scope of practice. So people are aware of legally what we can and cannot provide, I think is really important. I'd love to do a call about the use of psychedelics.
Yeah.
And visual planning would be another one. I'd love to talk about what's in your doula bag. We could go on and on. So if you have any suggestions about about things you, one, would like to see us cover, and two, would like to host, if there's something that you're really passionate about as a specialty of yours, and you could host one of them. And so we'll start to create a schedule for that. So like I mentioned, the Florida Doula Association, End of Life Doula Association is organizing. We've got a board of 6 people now, and we're meeting every other week. Super exciting. So we're going to be working on a website. One of the things that we're going to have on that website is a directory. Ooh. So we would love to have each of you on that directory and a little blurb about, what it is, what you do, where you are. I would love to have pages of resources. We could offer some Florida End of Life Doula Association swag. We're working on our logo, and so it's exciting. It's exciting time to be doing this work in the state, and I think that we could help other states that are looking to organize. We could be a great role model and help to create a pathway for that. Anything else anybody wants to add?
Yeah,
Bobby?
I'd like to add a couple of words, if I may.
Yes, please.
Unlike cannabis, psychedelics are still against the law.
Yes.
Sometimes the calls that I get is, my daughter has been in rehab 3 times and she tried to commit suicide. What do I do? So basically, our clients can't wait until this becomes available next year. So there are tools that you can use, but it's still on the ground. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that it's still a Schedule 1, and that's going to take next year to be legalized. That's all.
Yeah, important disclaimer. Thank you, Bobby. Okay, so if you have any suggestions of things you want to see or to reach out to Shanti. We have our Facebook page. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for taking time. I know we're all super busy, and you took some time out of your Tuesday evening, and it's been such a pleasure. So I want to thank you all again, and do stay in touch. I hope that there are some connections made tonight. Everything that was on the chat, how will that be available to the group? Will that go out an email, or what do you think, Shanti?
Say that again.
Everything that was on the chat.
Yes, I will send it in an email to the people who are here.
Okay. Okay, so if you haven't added your contact info, go ahead and do that.